All right, welcome everybody. This is my interview channel here, and today I have a very special guest. Her name is Tapas Fleming, and she created the Tapas acupressure technique known as TAT, which has been used by hundreds of thousands of people. I go to her YouTube channel. Check out the short videos, and it is amazing to know that there's individuals out there that just really care about humanity, care, and just giving you the information for free, basically. However, she does have on her website ways that you can go through training and become a practitioner. And for years and years and years, we've been trying to educate people on the power that you have within yourself. We all have a self-healing mechanism, a God-given self-healing mechanism, and that gets suppressed by the chemicals and the toxins in the air and the food and the water and the emotions that people are under. And so she's really pioneered the techniques to help you improve in many aspects of life. And we are only energetic beings and vibrational beings. That's what it all boils down to. Einstein said that, Tesla said that. So it's really more about activating your own internal energy and raising your vibrations. So welcome to the show today. I'm so happy to have you on.
Thank you. I'm so happy to meet you and get to chit chat with you and whoever listens to us.
Exactly. So I know you've probably told this story a million times, but just introducing basically how you developed the TAT technique, and just any information you think would be good for the listeners.
Sure. So I am an acupuncturist, and I learned this technique that took people lots and lots of sessions to get over allergies. And I was really aware that people wanted to get over things faster, cheaper. And I was working with people who were really sick, like just driving to my office, being in all the car fumes, they get super sick. So just kept thinking, how can I make this faster, cheaper, easier for everybody? So I was taking a nap one day on my acupuncture table on a slow day between clients. And as I woke up, there was just this like big fat thought in the room with me that this point right here, which is the first point of the urinary bladder channel, so it's just immediately above the upper inner corner of each eye. I remembered one of my professors in acupuncture school saying that all the meridians joined and entered the brain right there. And I thought, this sounds really important. So maybe if I touch this on my clients, along with what I'm doing to help them heal allergies, then that'll work. So I gave it a try, just touching them. I didn't needle, just my touch. And sure enough, they were getting over allergies faster. So that was the start of it. I was showing that to one of my clients, and he said, oh, my little old Tai Chi master from China told me if I touched here and here, it would help with headaches. And I thought, well, that's kind of what I'm on to here is it's related to the eyes, and touching here, the third eye, and this is also an acupuncture point, might help people get over their allergies faster. So I added that in, that was working better. Then I had a friend who was doing brain reintegration work from some techniques she'd learned from monks in Shanghai. And she was talking to me about how important the brain is and that the brain's vision center is right back here. So I thought, just driving to work one day, well, maybe if I put my other hand here for my clients, it's going to enhance what I'm doing with the allergies, because this is so vision centered. Obviously, it's the eyes and the third eye. So when I did that, people got over their allergies much faster. And that was really the start of it. A real turning point was this. You wanted to say something?
No, I was just going to say that's fascinating, because there's so many people that have allergies these days. It's and don't even know that, and so much damage to the gut, and all of the sugar and all of the toxins and the genetically modified foods and just the constant state of being in a sympathetic state, and then also the gut not being able to digest properly with leaky gut and things like that. And it's just fascinating that you mentioned the third eye, because not enough people talk about our spiritual connections and the third eye and how important it is. And I was actually gonna ask you, I bet ever since you were young, you had all these spiritual experiences and stuff, and you've always been meditating and you've always been connected to consciousness, and you've always had this intuition, huh?
Well, not when I was really teeny tiny young, but to segue into that, I'll tell you that a little bit. But yeah, when I was 15 was the first time I heard the question, "Who am I?" And I distinctly remember being in my mother's kitchen at 15 and going, "I'm 15. I don't know who I am. How can I live?" So, so I got involved back in the day with enlightenment work and had my first direct experience of who I am when I was 16. And that was, I spent a life doing that kind of thing and yoga and yeah, so these subtle abilities developed over time, for sure. So back to the story of how did I develop
Just your overall aura is amazing, and it's like an aura of love and peace and joy. It's amazing that you're helping so many people. So
well, thank
anyway,
you.
I'll let you continue on with that good description of how you pieced all those things together.
Yeah. Yeah. So actually from that older background, I felt like, well, for a while in my life, I wanted to do enlightenment work with people and did, but it's like, I need something that's just straight ahead. So acupuncture became the answer. And that was because I was pregnant with twins. One died before birth, one died after 100 days. And one of my friends said, why don't you get your health back together with acupuncture? So that's how I got into acupuncture. Anyway, so there I am trying to make things cheaper, faster, easier for my clients who want to get over allergies. And this woman comes in and she says, I'm allergic to salt. Can you help me? And I thought, oh my God, how hard that must be to live with. So we did my technique, and she was quiet for a little bit after. She was about 56, 57. She said, I've been in therapy for 9 years because I was sexually abused in a bar. And afterwards, every time I was given a bag of potato chips. So it was like, ding, oh my God, the salt of the potato chips and the trauma all became for her, that's not good for me. So it all mushed together. So I was thinking to myself, of course, I'm helping her get over salt allergy. And she said, this is the first time I can think of that entire period of my life, and I have no emotional charge on it. So that did it.
One of your aha moments of like, wow, this stuff really works.
Totally. It was a total aha moment because because I thought I'm just trying to help her with a salt allergy. Yes. And all of this trauma cleared up, which I wasn't expecting at all. So that was an answer to my prayers, because my thing in my life, what part of launched my path was, I want to be with a guy who is not like my dad for a boyfriend. How come I keep ending up with the same kind of guy? So, so what I realized in that moment was that all of the childhood traumas I'd experienced, I could actually undo with what I'd come up with and clear them out. So that was the start of it. And what I've seen over the years is that what this technique really does is that it helps a person de-identify from whatever they've been stuck with, like moments in the past, any past trauma, including inherited genetic traumas that we're born with that keep replaying in our lives, or, anything that's stuck, it cuts that It dissolves that identification, that connection. And at the same time, what it does spiritually is it brings a person to their center, whatever you call that, soul, spirit, God's child. It just automatically goes, and a person gets centered and feels like peace and lighter. So besides getting over trauma, getting over an allergy, car crash, heartbreak, people also like so fast get really truly centered and feel great peace. So that's what it does.
So if someone is, the world right now, you have lots of tension, you have lots of stress, you have lots of fear, you have lots of anxiety, which, as you know, lowers the immune system
Right.
and keeps you in a fight or flight response. Do
Mhm.
you have a technique that you could show everybody here to kind of calm themselves down if let's say they turn the news on for 30 minutes and their heart rate goes up?
Yeah,
Something they could easily do that you could show us?
yeah, for sure. That's exactly what I was thinking I would do, what you just said. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay.
So yeah, so this will be a shortened version of the whole technique, but it'll help you for sure. Well, I can't say for sure. I can't guarantee anything, but based on all these years of experience, yeah. So what you do is you use whichever hand you want and you lightly touch just above the upper inner corner of each eye. So just a light touch. So I can feel the top of my tear duct.
Does it matter what fingers you use, or can you use
Yes,
any?
yes, your thumb and your ring finger. Thanks for mentioning that.
Okay.
And then you put your middle finger midline just at the third eye area, which means like midline and maybe about a ½ inch or so above, ½ inch above your eyebrow level. And your other hand goes at the base of your skull. So your thumb is just where your actual hairline is, meaning where your hair grows out, and your hand's centered like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is your thumb laid flat like this across, or is it kind of the tip of your thumb
Yeah,
kind of?
just flat across. So you
Okay,
don't have to
flat
stick it
across.
in the
Mm-hmm.
notch.
Got
Yep.
it.
So that's the TAT pose. Um, so you can put your arms down for a sec. I'll just tell you how to be as we're going through this.
Okay.
Uh, so all you do is listen to what I'm saying, relax, and notice whatever you happen to notice. It's kind of like if um, we were in a car together and I was driving and you were just kind of looking out the window. There's no trying or hard focus. It's you just like go along for the ride and see what you happen to notice. That's it. So I'll do it with you in mind plus everybody else.
Great. Should I go ahead and do the?
Not quite. I just want to say one more thing to everyone.
Okay.
Just select something that is, when you think of it, it's stressful to you right now. And you'll be able to think of something that's like, geez, when the newscaster said that sentence, I keep hearing that sentence over and over, or I keep seeing the face of that mother or the person who was killed or whatever it was like, that was the shocking moment. Okay, so have you got one?
Have I got one?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really watch the news because of that.
I
I'm big into
don't
meditation and
either.
mindfulness, so I try to stay away. Even though we have videos, I really try to stay disattached from social media and everything because
Right.
it really does. So let's just give the example of I turn on social media and or would you like me to come up with another example?
Actually, I know that example. I mean, most everybody's into that. Most people um, are in
So,
that.
okay,
Don't.
let's just say that I turn on social media and, I feel that anxiety come up inside of me. Somebody posts something that I don't agree with and it's
Mhm,
causing anxiety and it's causing stress, or maybe it's something that I don't believe in, but they're posting it and everybody is kind of divided and have their own belief systems.
for sure.
um, and they're allowing it to affect their soul. I mean, all of our souls are the same, but our minds are different and with free will. So let's just say that exactly what's happening now.
Right.
regardless of your beliefs or anything like that.
Yeah.
That you feel that, like you feel that initial anxiety, and it might be that text that comes through or that post that comes through on social media, and
Yeah.
you're sitting in front of your computer and you're just either angry or you're anxious or you're fearful. Let's say something about, you see a video of somebody that just got a shot or something and is having a reaction or whatever, but you have that initial reaction that's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. Yes. And we can also include or watched the news. So what I want to know from you is, are you going to actually do the thing with me, or are you just going to observe?
I'll do it with you because I'll kind of put myself in that scenario at the same time. I mean, because it's
Okay.
happened to me. It's been
Okay,
real
good.
rough on everybody.
Right.
It's
Right.
more along the lines of, for me, what's been aggravating me is the fact that I've been deeply involved with a group of 27 doctors from the beginning of the pandemic, and what we were identifying was completely opposite of what people were hearing on the news. And it was very frustrating that we couldn't get information out to the people on natural remedies and natural immune boosting things, and
Yeah.
to see how, to see how people were being lied to in certain areas was difficult for us to deal with. So I mean, that did bring up, because it's like your technique, our techniques, where we have things that work, but yet you're being censored from sharing those things, or you're being ridiculed for it, or you're being attacked for it, even when you show the proof. Because that's not the agenda that is being, that they want people to accept and believe. That's what, and that did actually affect me. And still, when we have people like contacting us every day, like contacting you every day, that we're all dealing with the lack of immunity, the lack of trust, the fear, and all these things.
Yeah.
That definitely did affect me, and it does still aggravate me or stress me out whenever I get a report. When that you could have saved millions and millions of people, but the powers to be suppress information. That's frustrating. So I'll go through it and I'll try to get rid of that frustration. How does that sound?
Okay, that's fine. And don't try, just hang out and notice what you notice.
All right, that'll work.
Let this thing do what it does. Yes. And I just want to say too that all of the traumas we've all been through politically, with being isolated, everything we've all been through, all of that, as I'm sure you know and have said, lowers our immune system. That is, the traumas of what we've been through make it harder for us to be strong. So I'm saying to you and whoever listens, if you find this to be useful, then just use it for all these little things so you can get stronger and clear and more centered about what you decide is actually going to be best for you, instead of being like beat down, told what to do and going, oh, okay, I guess that's what I have to do. So that's part of my agenda with you.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
All right. So what we'll do first is a big intention, and that's in what I call the heart pose. It's just palm over your heart center, your heart chakra. So it's near your heart, but midline. So we'll just make this big intention together. You don't have to repeat what I say ever. Just hearing it and going, yeah, okay, basically. This healing's on behalf of you, all of us, me, all our families, all our ancestors, our conscious and subconscious mind, all the parts of us, all the points of view we've ever been identified with, for all beings involved, all beings who'd like to benefit. And it'll happen in a way that's safe and easy. Okay, so what we do now is we take all our stuff, like you mentioned what you're putting in the pot. I've got my attention on doing my thing, so I'm not putting in the pot means we're making like a big pot together, sort of. It just means the energetic field of where we're putting together all the things we're all working on together. So we're doing this on behalf of ourselves and each other and all our families, for whoever's here in the moment with us, whoever listens in the future. That's our intent. Okay, so you just do the pose now, and I'll tell you again. So whichever hand you want, your thumb, your ring finger, your middle finger in the middle. Yep, no pressure at all. It's just a really light touch. So there it is. Yep, and your other hand at the base of your skull. So your thumb isn't actually down on your neck, it's on your head. And like you said, flat, it's not notched, it's not bent into the notch. Okay, so you just stay in that pose. If your arms get tired, you can switch front to back. And if they get tired both ways, you can just do the heart pose like we just did. Everything that led up to my resonating, identifying, and connecting with all of this happened. All that happened, it's over. And I don't need to continue to resonate, identify, or connect with any of that. All the places in my mind, body, and life where all of this has been stuck or stored are healing now. God, or whatever name you like to use, God, thank you for healing all the places in my mind, body, and life where this has been stuck or stored. All the origins of this are healing now. God, thank you for healing all the origins of this, meaning wherever it came from, and we don't need to identify any of it, whether it's things that happened in your life, things that happened in an ancestor's life, things, if you think it's true, that happened in other lives, whatever it is that happened, all those origins of this manifesting in my life, that's what it means, are healing now. I forgive everyone who hurt me related to this, and wish you love, happiness, and peace. And you don't need to feel all mushy about it. It's just the thought. That's the intent we're making. I forgive everyone who hurt me related to this and wish you love, happiness, and peace. I accept that for who you were and are, what you were conscious of, your life situation, that was actually the best you could do. I apologize to everyone I ever hurt like this or related to this, and wish you love, happiness, and peace. Please accept that for who I was, what I was conscious of, and my life situation, that was the best I could do in all those moments. And then put your hands in the heart pose. That's whichever palm over whichever, and allow yourself to have any silent, unedited conversation, which you won't ever have to tell anyone, but silent, unedited conversation with whoever happens to come to mind about this. It can be one person or a whole bunch of people all at once. It can be God or whoever. So just take a minute or two, however long, and let me know when you're done.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll just do one more step here. Do the heart pose again. I completely allow and accept this healing and transformation in my heart and whole being with my grateful thanks.
Thank you.
Sure. So what did you notice?
Uh, I actually felt like it was leaving my aura. Like it was like the energy or the matrix around. There was just like some little areas in there were buzzing that were like interference.
Yeah.
And I felt like the interference left and everything came back to normal, like a good energy grid.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was nice. We don't spend enough time with ourselves, working on ourselves. It's so we're so involved in the outsides so much that it's really important to ask the questions like you asked. Who am I? Where do I come from? What can I do to take care of myself? So
Yeah.
thank you for that. I know there's a lot of different tapping techniques out there and a lot of different methods. What do you think? And I know you probably looked at a lot of those in your life too. What do you think makes yours so different and so much more effective than some of those other tapping techniques? Or do you use them in conjunction with those?
Hmm. Uh, I just want to say a whole bunch of my best friends in the whole world do the tapping techniques, teach them, they're way, way into them. And I just do my thing, and that's just the way it is. I like TAT better because um, you don't have to dig for anything. You just take this big bunch of junk and go, okay, I'm working on this now. And then by the end of it, you feel better. With the tapping techniques, as I understand them, I haven't seriously studied, but some. You have to like look at what's underneath and what's underneath that and what's underneath that, which I used to think. I used to like track down, okay, was it something genetic? Was it a past life? Which side of the family? Blah, blah. And then I realized, I'm trying to find all these origins for the manifestation of like this allergy. And then thought one day, well, maybe I could just say all the origins of this are healing now. And that worked. And I went, great. The other stuff was entertaining, but just getting over it and feeling better is what my clients and patients want. So anyway, back to the tapping versus TAT.
Yeah.
So also you never have to feel anything, which is a huge consideration. It's like people say, hey, you lived through it once, you don't have to live through it again, okay? So you can even take something that's been horrible, stick it in a box and put that in what I call the pot, just meaning the place where we're working on things, and not even feel one single thing about it. And it can still heal. So that's really cool. And it has, from what I've seen, the tapping techniques definitely make people feel better. They help with in all kinds of different ways that are similar to TAT. TAT also has the added quality of this inner spirituality or centering or connection with God. I like to say that the thing that makes TAT work, like what's doing the healing, is God or the universe, universal energy, divine mother, holy mother, whatever you call that. And I like to say it's whatever makes flowers grow. That's what's doing the healing here. So it's not me, it's not us. We just are here and do this real simple thing. And the actual work of it is done by that.
Love it. Love it. Everything's done by God. I mean, it's that resonates with me a lot. And I love the fact that anyone can do it and it doesn't take that long to do either. It's not like you have to make an appointment with a practitioner. Although, it's always good to have a health practitioner guide you the right way. But you never know when you're going to be coming up. You might be traveling. You might be on the airplane. You might be in a meeting. You might have a altercation with a coworker or in a relationship. I bet this works amazing for relationships too. That's just popping into my head. But husbands, wives, relationships with your children. If you have. Do you have any experience or a story you can tell about maybe a husband and a wife or a mother and a child or something like that, where they were having difficulties and they practice it together and work through those?
I think, well, what first comes to mind for me is, like I said, what was a driving force for me is I wanted to meet and get together with someone who wasn't like my dad. And that actually finally happened about 19 years ago. So I'm really, so I'm a happy recipient of my own healing in that way. Um, and then I have to say that before that, I was married and broke up the marriage. It just wasn't working for me then. Didn't really have this to do for the marriage then. And had a really rough time with my daughter, who was 10 at the time. And I would just say, because of the work I've done, a lot of it, like you saw in the beginning, we include our families in this. So she and I are super close now. So it wasn't like, oh, we talked it through, we did TAT together, blah, blah. It's just this healing from the inside out that happened. And people tell me about, like, I've done TAT with people and they'll say, geez, my son, I haven't talked to my son for 6 years. And like within a day after we've done a session, the son calls and things get moving again in their relationship.
Is it better to do a groups, like if you have a family together? I mean, can you do group sessions like that and then one person take the lead? Or is it better to kind of identify what each person would like to put in the bucket, let's say, and then have them do their own kind of internal? I'm assuming you're repeating kind of that same wording.
Yeah. People, before people do it with their family, I recommend they get trained, because a lot of times the hardest people to work with are your family. It's the messiest. It's the we don't want to hear what you have to say the most people. So they're just things to know about troubles people can get in as they're going through it. I mean, we did this, it was super light, it was just like boom, boom, boom. But there are things that happen, which is why I actually train practitioners and professionals. So the practitioner level, somebody would have everything they needed to know to work with their family, or at least a real core beginning. And hey, if you just were like with your family and you went, well, why don't we just try this out? I'm not going to stop you, because something good will probably come from that.
Just the
Yeah.
fact that you're disassociating yourself and you're becoming in a state of awareness of the present moment and you're becoming mindful. I mean, that alone. But I think it's fascinating. And I'll just reiterate that if anyone is interested in finding out any more information, they can go to tatlife.com. And I thought it was amazing that you listed some of the things on there, like self-confidence. I mean, it's just amazing how many people suffer from loving themselves, respecting themselves. And that's one of the things that you state that can really help people. And just looking for solutions to different types of problems, which I like to call situations. And I was saying there's always a solution for every situation, but
Mhm.
just getting inside and maybe letting your intuition or your gut feeling give you those answers, just asking yourself for those answers, being proactive. I like the one where you said ability to not let a bad 5 minutes ruin your day. Because that's actually happened to me before. In the morning, something will happen and I'm just like, but then, then I catch myself and I'll have to deal with that. But I mean, it happens all the time, one little thing or altercation or just whatever, somebody cuts you off in the car and then you just let that 1 minute of when those emotions rise up inside of you and you let it ruin your whole day and it puts you in a bad mood. So I love that fact that it doesn't take long either. You can just go sit in a chair and go through the exercise and just eliminate those thoughts or that anger or that whatever emotion that you're feeling and just get it out of your system.
Mhm.
Also the victim, the perspective of being a victim. I mean, we've seen that grow and grow and grow. And that's amazing that with this technique, you no longer have to think of or put yourself in that perspective of being a victim. Of course, I love the self-awareness, healing your issues instead of blaming others. I mean, that's something that I've been talking about for a long time is not blaming people all the time when things go wrong.
Mhm.
Um, just being in a blissful state of mind with day-to-day issues is amazing. So, and not settling for less in any relationship for that matter. So I'm really excited. I was excited to find out about you, and I hope that more people will. And I'm going to give you more time right now just to explain to the effect of how people that are interested, what is the first step they can take, the second step, if they want to learn more,
Mhm.
give them that step 1, 2, 3 of where they go since they watched this video and
Mhm.
they're excited. What would you recommend they do next?
Go to the website, tatlife.com. You can download the free 3 videos that'll walk you through it and give you a little more different information. And then watch some videos on YouTube. There's one about fear of success, a guy who didn't want to have his knee touch my knee in a demo. It's hilarious, so, and very touching. So if you just, it's probably the most watched TAT Life video. So you can check that out and just see if what interests you, see if it touches you. Read some of the testimonials at the website, watch some of the videos. Yeah, and next step, I highly recommend looking at our adverse childhood experiences program, see if that suits you, because it's a whole bunch of videos. You could choose just some or the whole deal, because it's our childhood stuff that makes that 5 minutes go, keep resonating with something that's still hurting from childhood for most of us. So just getting over that and knowing there's a way you can get over it without re-feeling it, re-experiencing it is nice. And yeah, I think that's a good start.
Perfect. Perfect. I mean, you do make everything very simple and attentive, and I just love the fact that a lot of your videos are under 10 minutes and 15 minutes. I'm assuming you're talking about when you were on the stage and the guy leaned his head on you. That was an awesome video.
All
Yeah.
right.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's so good to get to know you and introduce you to all of our health warriors out there that are really trying to make a difference in their life and everybody else's life. So thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. And we will put the link to your website and the YouTube channel underneath the video when it comes out. And from me and from everybody else, thank you so much for all the work that you're doing.
Thank you. I am really, really happy to meet you. And thanks for giving me this opportunity to talk to you and everybody who listens. Yeah. Can I give your warriors one tip that'll help them make use of what you tell them?
Absolutely.
Okay. So my tip is that you do the TAT pose. If you've ever thought, oh, that's just too much for me, you can just do the pose and think the positive things only. If he can do it, I can do it. If he can lose 70 pounds, I can lose 70 pounds. If he can get his health together and do all the research he has, I can start that path too. And even though it seems like a lot, I can do it. And I have his support.
So
That'll help your folks.
that's a good point that you brought up. We have a lot of people that just listen to morning affirmations. So if you're saying
Yeah.
that if you're in the pose and you're listening to morning, like I am,
Yes.
affirmations, that intensifies the affirmations that whether you're saying them or if you're just listening to some affirmations. The best way to do it would be in your pose then.
Yes, it would.
Awesome. That's
Give it a shot.
all right, will do. Well, have a wonderful day, and thank you for coming on again. And we're sending you
Okay.
lots of love and blessings.
Thank you, and mine to you and your listeners. Thank you.
All right, take care.
You too.